what's up, welders? Welcome to another episode of Adventures in Welding. I'm Paul. Thanks for joining me. Today we're going to talk about welding aluminum diamond plate. You've seen this stuff everywhere, truck toolboxes, fire trucks. It's everywhere you look, and frankly it's pretty expensive. I think a 2 foot by 2 foot square is around $50 here in my local area. But you can source this from other places. You can look on Craigslist, other classified sites for old truck toolboxes, and you get a whole toolbox for 40 or $50 and get quite a bit of this aluminum diamond plate out of it. And that's where this is from. This is some 1/16 inch aluminum diamond plate that we've liberated from an old truck toolbox, and we're going to show you a couple tricks on how to weld it, a couple things to be on the lookout for. And you can use it for pretty much any project you can dream up. Alright folks, I've got a couple of pieces cut out here that we're going to use today. We're going to weld up an outside corner joint and a butt joint. And as you can probably see, these don't fit together perfectly. And I'll show you how to overcome that, how to deal with those tread pieces. First thing you want to do though is make sure your aluminum is good and clean. Get yourself a stainless steel brush that you use only for aluminum and vigorously brush the area that's going to be welded. What you're doing is you're taking off the oxide that forms when aluminum touches oxygen. That oxide melts at over 3,000 degrees, whereas the aluminum melts at about 1,200 to 1,400 degrees. So in order to get good penetration, you want to clear off those surface oxides. Alright, the next thing we're going to do is set up our machine. This is the Eastwood TIG 200. It's an AC/DC TIG machine. We've got it set for foot pedal, and since we're welding aluminum, we're in AC mode. Our amperage is set to, it doesn't matter because it's on the foot pedal. I've got our clearance effect set to -3, pre-flow to 0.4, and post-flow to 6. I've got the foot pedal set for a maximum of about 75 amps for this weld. We're going to modulate it as we weld. Alright, one of the most important things in welding aluminum is to get that puddle flowing right at the beginning. You want to hit it with a lot of heat, keep it in place, dwell there until you see that aluminum go shiny. Once it's shiny, once you've got a puddle, then you're going to start adding your filler metal to it. You're going to be going slower at first and quicker as you move on, and the heat travels through the plate. So remember, at the beginning, you're basically preheating the plate and welding at the same time. Now I'm keeping the heat kind of on the low side here. My pedal is set for a maximum of 75 amps. I'm probably about half to 3/4, so I'm somewhere around 50 to 60 amps. I don't want to blow through here because we've got a little bit of gap. What I want to happen is for that molten aluminum to flow towards the center as I add the coolness of the filler metal, and that's how we're going to take care of those small gaps. You might have to slow down and or step on the pedal a little bit when you come to the diamond tread pattern, because now we're talking, instead of a 1/16 of an inch, we're looking at almost an 1/8 of an inch. So you're going to have to adjust things accordingly. But as you see, we just keep moving on, and we're moving faster. We want to keep a steady rhythm on our dabs. I found one of the biggest issues in welding aluminum, especially TIG welding aluminum, is holding it in position, since it is non-magnetic. So what you need to do is basically just get creative. This is a piece of 1x1 angle iron, some nice vice grip type clamps, and a spring clamp. Nice tight gap there for this outside corner joint. Once we get it tacked, everything will be fine, but you need to hold it in place while you start. TIG is an entire body welding process, so you don't have anything free to hold the joint while you tack it. Alright, here we go with that outside corner joint, and this is all gap. So you want to try and keep your torque, you want to keep that arc force blowing straight down, perpendicular to the opening of that gap. Now once you get moving, man, it's like the old Johnny Cash song, get rhythm, when you got the blues, come on, get rhythm. Once you get your dips going, man, you just got to keep going, dip, 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 dip. And I don't know why I stopped there. Okay, let's try again. So, we light up and we're moving. I probably just had the reposition. Get your dips going, keep that rhythm going, keep as close to a steady arc length as you possibly can. Now what I like to do in welding an outside corner like this is sometimes you've got to move front to back, side to side, however you want to look at it, to make sure that you are getting that molten metal on both sides and not favoring one side over the other. But just keep a close eye on that puddle, look for that backward C shape, shove that rod in there, and keep going with a nice rapid dip pattern. The final look of your weld is going to depend on how much dip you put into it. If you want a laid out stack of dimes, dip less. If you want a nice rounded look, dip more. Dip away, people. Alright folks, there you can see the welds. Here is our outside corner weld. And here is our butt joint. Let's get in closer. There's our outside corner joint. Looking very, very nice. Nice and smooth and shiny. And there's the inside with good penetration through the joint. And there's our butt joint. My hand's a little wobbly when you're doing this freehand. Well folks, that's it for this episode of Adventures in Welding. Give yourself a try at TIG welding some aluminum. Aluminum is a different animal than steel, that's for sure. With steel, even with stainless steel, you get your heat, you get it, you hit it and go. And you pretty much are going to keep it the same heat throughout the weld, varying your speed, whatnot. With aluminum, you're going to have to be on and off that pedal like you're driving a car, constantly modulating your heat, watching the puddle as it forms. You're going to watch for that little C shape when you're butting a couple pieces of metal together. Keep jabbing that aluminum in there, filling that gap. You get it all done though, nothing like a beautiful shiny aluminum joint, laying dimes as they call it. That's pretty. Well, thanks for joining me, and I hope I see you again next time on Adventures in Welding.